Welcome back to our special Indianomics on unsecured credit. I now have with me Mr. Rajneesh Kumar, the former chairman of State Bank of India and now chairman of several fintechs, actually, like BharatPay. He's also heading MasterCard. His knowledge of banking and fintechs makes him best placed to analyze the scare of unsecured lending. Mr. Kumar, thank you very much for your time. Well, first, the Reserve Bank's argument has been unsecured loan is growing too fast. In many banks, it is growing at 35-40%. Is that reason enough to be worried? Especially because some banks are new to retail, So your thoughts?
Yeah, no, RBI as a regulator, they have a lot of data, and if they are saying something, that will be based on data. So more than the growth, that who is growing at what base, if it is a low base, then obviously the growth rate would look 30%, 40%. If the base is big and on that you are top of it growing at 35%, then it's a different. But as a portfolio strategy of any lender, they should have a portfolio in mind. That how will their portfolio look like? What is their risk appetite? And in that portfolio, what would be the percentage of secured loan, unsecured loan? What would be the percentage of corporate loan? And then there is something called risk-adjusted return on capital. Obviously, on housing loans which are fully secured, the spreads are low. When it is secured, so is the case with the credit cost, which for most of the portfolio would be less than 1%.
Yeah.
Unsecured loan, obviously the credit costs are high. So this is also an issue around that how these loans are priced. But as far as the RBI is concerned, if they have certain data, the statistics and about certain NBFCs or banks, if they are going too fast for their comfort, so it's all right. RBI can put a lot of caution.
Okay.
And the other thing,
one of the bankers said that, some banks are even lending personal loans for 7 years. Normally, personal loan tenors are shorter. Is this what is scary?
Yeah, that I would agree. That personal loans and that unsecured are not given for long. They are by nature short-term and recoverable in EMI and now EDI, equated daily installments. Like we have moved from EMI to EDI for smaller loans. So one thing I am very clear about any bank or NBFC or any organization, that one should not do a business which they don't understand or have not created capability to handle. So personal loans, if you are doing, say, for example, manually, or if you are not fully digitized, you don't have digital analytical capabilities, you don't have control over the cash flow, then it is a different type of risk which is building in the book.
Yeah, so this under 50,000 crore, under 50,000 rupee loans, that is what Sibyl is pointing out is showing greater delinquency. And, do you think fintechs are the problem? Because because of buy now, pay later, they are giving 3-4 loans. There are people with 3 or 4 loans at the same time. Is that what the Reserve Bank needs to look at?
No. Of course, Reserve Bank as a regulator has to ensure that there is no systematic risk developing as far as the loan portfolio of banks or NBFCs is concerned. And they have to be taken with a lot of respect. If they are saying something, I have found that when RBI says something, they do it on the basis of certain data and their assessment is general. So that is one. But also at the same time, about the growth in personal loans, a lot of banks have done rebalancing of their book. About 1% taking too many loans, then it would impact their CIBIL score. And most of the lenders, and you were talking about the fintechs, and because I happen to chair the board of BharatPay, which also facilitates small value loans, although our ticket size is not as small as below 50,000. But we facilitate a small value, small ticket size loan to the SMEs, and which are otherwise not able to access the formal market, like banks or NBFCs. So fintechs have shown a certain way of that how do we handle these type of loans.
Okay.
And as I said, it is all about the business strategy. It's all about the capability to underwrite risk. It's about the capability to recover and have control over cash flows. And so if it is a well thought strategy, then I think there is not it is like any other lending business. And delinquencies in these type of loans are higher, but that's why the pricing of the loan is also higher. If you look at 9%, these type of loans you can't get below 22-24%.
That's true.
The other thing which I would like to mention here is that all these people today who are like being approached by fintechs or NBFCs, these are the people who also borrow in the informal or unorganized market. And that comes at a very, very high cost. It is difficult to even calculate that at what cost does it come. When they are in need, they will borrow, and it will be that you give me 1,000 rupees today, and after 15 days, I will give you 2,000 rupees. So this type of transaction, nobody even calculates that what is the cost of borrowing or lending in the informal market. So digitization and capability to use technology in analytics and so many other things in underwriting. So that is an enabler. So this is the push side. And on the demand side from the people, obviously, the country is growing at a good rate. So I call it a Americanization of personal loan markets in India. So that is what's happening. Earlier it was unthought of that people would borrow money. There was a certain hesitancy amongst Indians. Borrow money, but that's going on.
Yeah. That I take your point, sir. Thank you very much for pointing out to this behavioral change in India and the fact that every institution should only enter where it is prepared with the skills to lend to that market. Thank you very much. We are out of time. But the main takeaway from our speakers has been that at the moment it is not a systemic problem. It is a small problem, and the Reserve Bank is right in forewarning that it doesn't get very big. We have to keep our eyes open on whether the guys who are borrowing 3-4 loans from various fintechs, don't start defaulting on their auto loan from a bank. So that's what the Reserve Bank is worried, that it doesn't expand. But I think all parties have been forewarned, so maybe it won't become that big a problem after all. Thank you very much for watching this special edition on unsecured debt.